Hey everybody, in this video we are going to be going through some upper body work, a little 10-15 minute routine, warm some things up, warm our shoulder joints up, warm the tissues up, so we're more prepared for your activities. So if you're about to do an upper body lift, this would be a great thing to do right before that, or any level of a sport or activity involving your upper body. A couple disclaimers before we get started into this upper body work. First is closing angle joint pain or pinching. Again, I've got a video on closing angle joint pain. I've got a video on irradiation. Those kind of two disclaimers we're going to just briefly cover here before we get started. Please check those out, though, before you do this video. Just kind of a personal responsibility thing. I want you to know what you're getting into before you jump into some level of Kinstretch or FRC work. But closing angle joint pain and pinching, for every movement that we go through, there's always a closing angle and an opening angle side. So let's say I bring my ear over to my shoulder. I'm going into lateral flexion of my neck. This angle is getting smaller, so this is the closing angle. This angle is getting larger. This is the opening angle. Same thing here. If I go into shoulder flexion, this angle is getting larger. This angle is getting smaller. What I don't want you to do is push through any closing angle pain or pinching ever. Consider that a red light. Stop there. Bypass that. I'm going to ask you to navigate around that. Come out of that a little bit. Don't push into that end range that causes that pain or pinching sensation. Additionally, if you do feel that discomfort or you feel like you're limited because of the opening angle side, great. Consider that a green light. Obviously, again, take some personal responsibility. If you know that, hey, that is just not a good position to push into, please don't navigate around it. Come out of that end range of motion. So what we're going to be doing is going through a little bit of some shoulder work. Again, create as much irradiation or internal tension as you would like. If you want to make this an easier class, feel free to dial that down. If you want to make this a harder class, create a little bit more of that isometric internal tension. If you don't know what I'm talking about, again, check the irradiation video out. That will kind of help you through that. Or you can just kind of follow along and I'll give little bits and pieces on that irradiation. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with shoulder rotation. Shoulder, upper arm bone meets the shoulder blade socket. We're going to be doing some rotations of your shoulder in some different positions. So we want shoulder, upper arm bone to move independent of your shoulder blade. So I don't want to see excessive shoulder blade up, down, back, forward, any of those positions. We want isolated motion from the upper arm bone. Another little cheat code here is that forearm, elbow, wrist, and hand is not your shoulder. Again, we're looking at and trying to initiate motion from the shoulder joint itself so we can access and communicate with those deepest layers of tissue in your shoulder. So forearm rotation, pronation, supination of the forearm or elbow is not the same as internal, external rotation at your shoulder. So visualize that happening. We're not asking for perfection, consistency, focus on that. And we'll get to work. So we're going to go both arms down to your sides. Spine is stable, head and neck are stable. You're as still as a statue from your head all the way to your toes. Only thing moving are your arms initiated at your upper arm bones. So elbows are locked. Don't let the elbows bend. You're going to internally rotate your shoulders first. Spiral your knuckles towards your hips or towards your thighs and wring that rotation out, pain and pinch free. External rotation, go back the other direction, upper arm bone spirals first, and then when you run out of room at upper arm bone, you can wring that rotation out further with your forearms, elbows, and hands. Squeeze at the shoulders. 2 more reps each direction, guys. Slow and controlled is the name of the game. Feel the deep shoulder spiral in the socket. Wring it out with your hands once you run out of room at upper arm bone. Reverse, external rotation. Upper arm bone rotates first. Hands move as together, and then hands wring that out independent of the shoulders, but squeezing out more range for the shoulder themselves. 1 more each direction, guys. Internal rotation, upper arm bone spiral, wring it out with your forearms and hands. Feel that deep shoulder work, then reverse it for external rotation. Upper arm bone spirals. Once you run out of room at upper arm bone, wring that rotation out with your hands. Excellent. Guys, let's bring your arms straight out to the sides. We're going into a T position. Same thing. Take a nice breath in. Exhale, get stiff, tighten your abs. No motion at your spine, no motion at your head. Shoulder blades stay stable. If this is uncomfortable, come a little bit lower. Internal rotation, upper arm bone spiral. Wring it out with your hands. External rotation, upper arm bone spiral. Wring it out with your hands. Internal rotation, 2 more each direction. When you spiral here, try not to let those shoulder blades shrug or get involved. Wring it out at the shoulder. External rotation, rotate upper arm bone, then wring it out, squeeze. One more each direction, internal rotation, external rotation. Get to that stopping point and isometrically squeeze for more. Relax. Guys, one more variation. Let's go up to a Y, hardest position of them all right here. Again, you can come out here if this is uncomfortable to get up into this Y. Internal rotation. Keep elbows locked. Don't let the shoulder blades shrug. Don't be surprised if there's less range of motion here. Just go with what you have isolated at your shoulder joint. External rotation. Wring it out with your hands. Careful to not excessively extend the spine. Lock that in. Internal rotation. Rotate. Wring it out with your hands. External rotation, rotate, wring it out with your hands. One more each direction, guys. Internal rotation, wring it out with your hands. Feel that deep shoulder work. External rotation, upper arm bone spirals, wring it out with your hands. Relax from there. Excellent. Moving on, we're going to go into a single arm exercise here, guys. Couple bits and pieces to this. Allow me to demonstrate and just go through what the plan is. So we're going to start with your right hand somewhere at your low back. The higher you go, the harder it is. The lower you go, the easier it is. Find what feels best for you. Again, we are still as a statue from your head all the way down to your feet. Even this other arm, you're going to create some tension and let that stay still as well. Just moving this one arm. We're focusing on this back shoulder tissue. What we're going to do is take a good breath in. Exhale, get tight. You're going to do 5 repetitions of back shoulder, lift off, control back down. Lift off, control back down. We're going to go 5 of those. On our 5th one, we're going to lift off, and then we're going to extend. Be careful. Don't let the arm come here. I can make this a real easy exercise if I let my arm just drop in. We're trying to hit your end range, pain and pinch free. So it'll be that lift off, extend, hover, extend, hover. 5 reps. On rep 5, lock out. Then we're going to go external rotation up into this Y position. Bend your elbow, hover your hand behind your head. We'll let you take a quick break, 10 seconds here, just take a couple of breaths. And then we're going to go through that same sequence overhead. 5 liftoffs, 5 liftoff extensions, and then that 5th extension, we're going to come all the way back around, get back to our back to hover, come back down, and then we're going to finish with 2 more full swimmer exercises. So let's get started. We're going to go right side first. Right hand at your low back. Take a good inhale. Exhale, get nice and tight, brace your abs, squeeze your butt, root your feet into the floor if you're in a standing position, even make some tension with that other hand. Lift off, feel that back shoulder, and back down. 1, lift off, and back. 2, lift off. 3, lift off. Even if you're not lifting, make it the intention to lift. That back shoulder is just working. And back down, there's 4. Last one, we're going to extend our elbow here. Lift off. Again, even if you're not lifting, that's okay. Just feel the back shoulder work. Extend your elbow. Keep the upper arm there. Don't let it travel forward. And hover behind your low back. And extension. And hover. 3 more, guys. Extension. Hover. Extension. Oh, that back shoulder. Feel it. Flexion. 1 more, extension, hold tricep engage, external rotation at your shoulder. You're coming up to a Y, then bending your elbow, hovering it behind your head, and then let it relax behind your head. Take 2 breaths here for me, guys. Slow breath in, even slower breath out. Enjoy this 10-second break. Nice guy, no, 10 seconds, great. And we will reverse that same sequence. So, good breath in. Exhale, get nice and tight, brace those abs, root your feet into the floor, send tension up your legs, even into that left arm, back shoulder, lift off. Don't let the head travel forward, don't let the spine extend or lift, let it stay stable as a statue, back down. 1, and lift off. 2, lift off. Again, even if you aren't lifting, it's just the back shoulder. 3, 2 more, guys, lift off. That's okay, just feel that back shoulder work. 4, last one here, guys. Lift off, and now we're going extension and hover. Extension, hover. Fight for the wall behind you. Extension, hover. Extension, hover. There's 4. Extension, hold extension. Now we're internally rotating your shoulder. Keep fighting for that wall behind you. As you rotate all the way around, keep that upper arm back, bend your elbow, hover behind your low back, and relax for 10 seconds. Take a couple slow breaths in, even slower breaths out. Again, trying to avoid any of the spine motion, lock it in, head, neck, stay stable, no side bending, no rotating, all shoulder, you're still as a statue everywhere else. Guys, 2 reps, we're going from low back to behind head, back to low back. There's 1, we'll go for 2 total reps here. So tying it all in. Good inhale, exhale, good brace. Back shoulder lift off, extension, external rotation, up to a Y, bend your elbow, hover behind your head, and relax, and lift off, extension, internal rotation as you reach behind you, keep reaching for that back wall, hold internal rotation, bend your elbow, hover, onto your low back, relax. There's 1, I know it feels only rather defeating, that's 1 rep, but we only got 1 more, hang in there guys, let's go for it. Inhale, exhale, good tension, good brace, lift off, extension, external rotation, come up to the Y, flexion of your elbow, hover behind your head, relax, hand behind your head, and lift off, extension, internal rotation of the shoulder, flexion of the elbow, hover behind your low back for 1, and relax from there. Excellent. Guys, let's switch it up, hit that left side, catch it up, and then we'll call it a day. Left hand at your low back, higher, harder, lower, easier. Take a good inhale. Exhale, good brace, 5 lift-offs with your hand at your low back, back shoulder, lift off. Back to your back, 1. Lift off, return for 2. Lift off, find that end, fight for more as long as it's pain and pinch free. And back down, 2 more, lift off, squeeze. Back to your back, there's 4. Lift off, make it as hard or as easy as you want, fight for more. And back down, and lift off, an extra 1. Extension, 5 reps. Keep the upper arm reaching for the back room. Flexion, hover, extension, and hover, extension, reach, hover. 2 more, extension, hover. 4, extension, hold extension. Now we're externally rotating. Come all the way up, ring that rotation out, hit the Y, bend your elbow, hover behind your head. Let your hand come to the back of your head. 2 breaths here, guys. Slow breath in, even slower breath out. Let's reverse that sequence up top. Good inhale. Exhale, good brace. And lift off, back shoulder. Return to head, 1. Lift off, still as a statue, just the arm. And return, 2. Lift off, even if you're not moving, just feel the back shoulder. 3. 2 more, guys. Lift off. Back down to 4. 1 more, lift off, hold the lift off, extension. Lock the elbow, back to hover. 1. Extension. Hover. There's 2. 3 more, guys. Extension. Hover. 3. Extension. Hover for 4. Extension. Hold extension. Keep reaching to the wall behind you. Elbows locked. Internal rotation at your shoulder. Reversing it. Bringing your arm back around. Keep reaching for that back wall. Hold that reach. Bend your elbow. Hover. And relax your hand to your low back. Excellent, guys. 2 reps of swimmers and we'll call it a day. Inhale through your nose. Good exhale. Good brace. Root your feet. Get some tension through your lower body. Let's train, guys. Lift off as long as there's no pain and pinching. Hold that lift off. Extension. Squeeze. Reach behind you. External rotation. Isolated upper arm, shoulder from everything else. Y. Hover. And relax, hand behind your head. Good brace, lift off, extension to a Y, internal rotation at your shoulder, keep that reach going back behind you, rotate, ring that rotation out, bend your elbow, hover, back down. Excellent, guys. Last one, best one right here. Inhale, exhale, good brace, butt tight, belly tight, lift off, extension, external rotation, rotate up to that Y. Hold the upper arm there, reach the elbow back as you bend your elbow, hover behind your head. Relax behind your head. Last half rep, lift off. Extension, squeeze that elbow, squeeze that reach behind you. Internal rotation at your shoulder, reversing it back around. Squeeze that reach back, bend your elbow, hover, and relax from there. Excellent work, guys. Thank you for joining. Please let me know if you have any questions. We'll see you next time.